Well, as we tell you, we're doing Airbrand again. As we tell you each and every day, Builder's Source is responsible for our fabulous New Mexico-style kitchen.
Beautiful.
Everybody asks, every time somebody comes in here, I have to, I mean, you probably hear it when you watch the show, we love your kitchen.
Really.
Everyone, right?
And we're pleased to welcome Mike Williams from Builder's Source on this morning, and he's brought one of our favorite guests, Miss Jane Butel.
Yay!
It's my pleasure. Oh, I love being here.
Our New Mexico cooking treasure. We love having you.
Yes, definitely.
And tell us what you're making today.
Well, I'm making chili con queso, and we're starting out with just vegetable oil.
Okay.
And you want to try to always use soy oil.
Really? Why?
Well, it's an interesting thing. When I was contracted to develop the food for Del Taco and El Torito, they wanted sort of the world's best chili con queso. And believe it or not, we worked on this recipe for several days. I had 3 different home economists testing, and so we contacted Kraft Kitchens, who makes a lot of cheese, and we said, what can we do to keep it from scumming and keep it from just getting like that layer of stuff on top? And they said, well, really what you really need is soy, and that's how processed cheese holds up. The processed cheese like Velveeta is a brand. What makes it keep from scumming when you melt it down is soy oil.
Wow. And Mike, are you finding it easy to cook on our stove?
It doesn't stick on the bottom. Look at that. That is so good.
Controlled heat.
Well, yes, give us some of the tricks, because that's the key. A lot of people say, oh, this is so fancy, and they don't realize how easy it actually is to use.
Well, this is it. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
It's the easiest possible to clean, and actually, amazingly, it's faster than gas.
It is?
Yes, and it's so clean. Actually, just because everybody thought I should have gas, and you've cooked in my kitchen with me.
Oh, yeah.
I do have, but now my silver needs polishing, the copper needs polishing, and you cook with this, everything stays so clean and pretty and
Jane,
shiny.
speaking of gas, is a little personal, though, isn't it? No, I'm just
It took me a while to tell you that one. Well, I'm going to talk about sauteing the onions now.
Humor in the morning. I got a little smack on that one. Now, listen, I have to ask you because, I mean, you've been cooking for a long time, and you said,
I know.
and I think that's the thing, Mike, and do you find this a lot in the store? People come in, they think sometimes automatically, you see the fire, you automatically do assume it gets hotter faster or that it works better.
Well, yeah, it's just that old flame thing.
It's that old flame.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and an interesting point with these solid tops like this is they have sort of like an open coil like in the old-fashioned toasters, so they get hotter faster than the cow rod or those tubular steel kinds of units. So what I'm doing here, just so you might want to follow on the recipe, I added soy oil, and we got this. What took us so much testing was to get the maximum amount of soy to keep it from scumming. See, this hasn't scummed. I made it last night.
Not at all.
And so now I've sauteed the onions and the garlic, and I'm adding, we found that we needed just a little more. We need to ramp up the oil, and to keep it from being oily or greasy or having a film on top, we had to add a little flour.
Okay, so flour is the secret trick.
Well,
like
just a tablespoon to bind off that surplus amount of oil. In other words, it's just sort of scientific.
Right, it is.
Yeah.
And then this is your processed cheese. And I had one food editor, and excuse my hands, it's stuck in there. She wouldn't make this in our week-long school. She says, I will not work with processed cheese. And I said, well,
excuse everybody.
I know. But it's just real cheese, and they've just made it so it's easier to work with. And the secret is mostly soy oil.
Well, and it smells so good. Those onions cooking.
It smells
fresh onion and fresh garlic.
Well, Mike, does it give you a sense of pride when you see chefs like Jane cooking on your stove?
Oh, there you go.
She makes it look so easy.
Doesn't she?
I mean, it's so much easier to talk about it, but to see how she does things.
That's true.
This is so nice.
Oh, and now I'm adding the Monterey Jack and cheddar. I appreciate your kind words.
No, it's true. And also, while you're doing that, I wanted to ask you, what do you have the stove on right now? Do you keep it on the second zone or just the first zone with the...
I'm using... well, right now I'm using the high heat.
Okay.
But these are heavier pans.
Oh, okay.
And I'm also paying, really close attention. And so I want to, actually, I'm going to pull this down a little bit. and see how easy it is to do. You just have plus and minus. Everybody knows that minus means less.
Right, of course.
And plus means more. So I'm just working on this.
Where does the stove actually rank at Builder Source as far as most requested? Is this one of the most requested?
Well, gas is still highly sought after, more than electric is, but we're seeing more and more people are recognizing the fact that the cleanliness and actually the electric glass cooktops will work so much easier than what gas will.
You don't have to deal with the parts, taking out the parts. That's one of the things I have to do is put the parts into the dishwasher. That is nice.
And cleanability
this is so easy.
Yeah.
Well, how do you
and your
clean it
pans
again?
stay clean, too.
Because, you know, we flipped the omelet the other day on the Quack omelet, and it got everywhere, and it was so easy to clean, which was shocking. So what would you recommend?
Well, they make actually a nice ceramic glass cleaner.
Oh, okay,
that you can just wipe on, and it cleans it, it beautifies it, it puts a nice, good surface on it, and
That's
a
nice.
nice shine to it.
I love that. Okay, so now, Jane, what did you just add?
I just added the evaporated milk. So what I have in here now is I started with soy oil. I added fresh onion, fresh garlic, and then I added evaporated milk once the onion started to cook. And and all I do is just cook this until the cheese melts. So I'm going to give it the maximum heat and stir it. And I like to use wooden spoons rather than the steel. It's a little quieter.
I do notice that when you cook, and I love that.
It doesn't scratch your pan either.
Yeah.
Exactly. It doesn't. Yeah, if you watched me the other day, you would have been very disappointed in me because I couldn't find a wooden spoon or a knife in time, and I had to put butter in the pan, and I used a fork, a metal fork, and I was so embarrassed.
No.
That was such a note. I thought, oh, Jane and Mike would not be pleased.
When you get in a hurry, sometimes things happen. Well, one of the things that makes this taste really fresh and good is we're using fresh tomatoes and fresh jalapenos. And Mike, one of the things we should mention is we're now joining together to have monthly huge cooking schools again.
Wow.
Oh, I want to go.
Yes,
On Wednesday evenings.
We should do one, don't you think?
We
We should bring
Wednesday.
Kristen, because Kristen wants to learn how to cook, and we should all do, like, the three of us should do
I
a
would
night.
love it.
Let's try to do
Yeah,
that.
it'll be the last Wednesday of the fourth Wednesday of every month.
Okay.
Excellent.
How cool.
Yeah.
Oh, and Jane will show how to do not only the Mexican dishes, but also to use all the new cooking type of surfaces, such as induction cooking.
Oh, which a lot of people don't know how to do.
Broiling and baking.
So how do our
and
viewers find out
microwave.
about these classes?
Well, we're going to soon have the sign up, and it'll be on my website, www.janebutel, and we're going to have links back and forth.
Okay.
Cooking.com.
Okay.
And then Groupon is going to be contacting, they have almost 100,000 members here in Albuquerque that have signed up.
Fabulous.
And they're
great.
going to start promoting it next week.
How fun.
Excellent.
Oh, we have to be a part of
Definitely.
this. That's going to be
yeah.
great.
Real exciting. This will be
It's a
good.
way to really show off the opportunities and possibilities you can have in your kitchen and learn how to cook at the same time by somebody who's world-renowned.
Well,
I mean,
thank you.
hello. I went to her cooking school.
I know. I went to Jane Butel's cooking school. That's awesome.
I have the certificate to prove it. I do.
Yeah, she made
love it.
tortillas and sopapillas and all that good stuff.
Sure.
Okay, when the cheese gets almost totally melted, I add this is fresh tomato.
Okay.
And I use Romas because they tend to
They're
be
the best.
redder in the winter time. And this is fresh, kind of finely chopped jalapeno. And
Great.
all we do is stir this, and now we're ready. So we got
Very
two
nice.
batches of this, and it's
Yay, the crew will be so happy.
it's fun for a Super Bowl party or something like that.
Oh, great idea.
Or even a party, and just leave it on these surfaces because it won't stick, it won't burn, and it'll stay just perfect. Like Mike has that just at
Yeah,
the right.
that looks
Mike,
And
you've
so
got
would
that great
you like to try
action, by
that?
the way. Go
Oh,
ahead.
this
Very
is...
He's got it.
Ooh,
I've been working hard on that.
I love it. You are working it. I love
To
it.
my extent here.
No, but it is very
So I
impressive. And you brought us a whole basket of tortillas.
Blue corn tortillas, and I think a lot of people don't realize, but blue corn is native to New Mexico, and blue corn has total nutrition. I think it's the only food that has total nutrition.
Wow.
All the vitamins, minerals, and amino acids, and that's how the Anastasies and the ancients survived, as it was complete nutrition. So
It's really good to know.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, if you take Jane's school, you'll learn the whole history of corn, really, and the ancestry, and just so
And
much.
chilies, too.
Yes, there's so much. So when
Well,
we
thank
come
you.
back, we are going to be trying this chili con queso with the tortilla chips, which my trainer will not be pleased about. But hey, there's a lot of
Yeah, it's
nutritional
nutritious.
value in these blue corn chips. So
Right.
I don't feel quite so guilty.
There
Do
you
you,
go.
Michael?
No, not at all.
And of course, for Jane's recipe today, all you need to do is log on to casa.com, and we'll be right back.